Hey everybody and welcome back. I am Eric for President and you know the drill, your one-stop shop for 5 VR stories you missed over the past couple days, and I am very excited about today because there are a lot of stories that made me think a lot. Very excited to see how they play out and hear your thoughts on them. But first, as always, a few things in VR making me happy. We've got Ragesaq going ham on some Darth Maul 360 Beat Saber. I seriously cannot stop watching this clip. Go check them out. Dash Dash World Beta 2.0 for the Oculus Quest is going live December 22nd. The devs keep improving this title more and more. Please give this game a look to support an amazing team. And lastly, the Kiwi silent VR cable management system is making my VR playtime that much better. And I was provided a test product, however, this is not a paid sponsorship and they work great. I would 100% advise to use. All links for these will of course be in the description. A quick item before we get into the news. Of course, the year is winding down and I want to thank everyone for an amazing year on the platform. This community has almost no trolls in it. Those who troll, it's usually a joke, it's fantastic, and it usually makes me laugh. But overall, you're an amazing, positive community, a positive gaming community that I'm very excited to have with me through this journey. And shoot me a friend request on the Oculus platform. My tag is down here. Shoot me a DM on it if you want to talk. It's nice to reach out to other people. I'll try to message as many as I can back over time, just to say hey, answer questions, meet you up in VR. Just another way for me to connect with you. I thank you for all the happiness you've given me. But let's get into the VR news. Enough rambling. Leave a like to support this video. Let's get into the VR news. Cheers. In our first story, let's talk about the speed in which the Oculus Quest has updated with dynamic fixed foveated rendering. I had to say that 10 times to get this clip right, and even saying it still sounds like an oxymoron, but let's get into why it's important and how awesome it is. Let's talk about it. Currently, the Oculus Quest has featured fixed foveated rendering, which is a feature developers can use on the Oculus Quest, where the peripherals, or basically the edges of your field of view, are shown at a lower resolution than the center of your view. In Eric terms, you're getting pixelated views where you're barely looking, and crisp where the eyes are drawn. This makes it easier on the software to maintain a consistent and comfortable frame rate and performance by trimming down details in games, a necessary evil on the Oculus Quest. It's a great and necessary feature, but it does have impact on some games. For example, when I played the Climb, I noticed it heavily in the draw distance and the peripherals of the Climb VR, where I'm fixated on, it looks great, but it's pretty pixelated on the sides. Now with the new dynamic fixed foveated rendering, again, an oxymoron of a term that makes my head hurt if you think about it enough, this allows developers to let the Oculus Quest system adapt and learn the level of foveation needed based on the demand of the Oculus Quest is under. Basically, this means instead of always being more pixelated around the edges of views, when the Oculus Quest system is not as heavily taxed, no foveated rendering or pixelization will occur, and it will only pixelate around the edges when the Oculus Quest is under heavy performance demand. Overall, it's just amazing the speed in which the Oculus Quest is updating. Soon I expect it to be opening this beer for me. That would be fantastic, but overall I think it's a great update because as VR users, I count you as an early adopter, I am an early adopter, we are still in the phase of early adoption for VR, and the fact that early adopters keep getting a product that gets better and better so quickly, it's amazing for consumers, it's a great product and great to have. Let me know your thoughts on this down in the comments. We move on from a positive story to unfortunately one that may have more negative connotations, but I'm very interested to talk about this, see how it plays out, and more interested to hear your thoughts on it, but let's get into the certain changes that are coming to Facebook and how they'll impact VR overall. You may remember if you checked out my last video, the new social updates to the Oculus Quest, where starting now, you will be required to have a Facebook account linked to your device to enjoy all social features available. Without a Facebook account linked, you won't be able to add friends, direct message, easily join friends in game, and more. Well, new news has come out that has implications on further control that could even threaten side quests and other consumer benefits the Quest has to offer. In Facebook and Oculus's VR dream, including a new Facebook campus dedicated to VR, along with billions invested into AR and VR, with now the announcement of Facebook developing AR glasses, yeah, I know, a lot of news, it all leads to one thing: Facebook working on building its own operating system. This info and concept was first shown to me on TechCrunch by Josh Constein. Currently, the Oculus Quest is Android-based, which is a Google property and limits control in many ways. In my opinion, it's Android-based primarily because it's open sourced and easily customizable, but more likely they've already figured it out thanks to Gear VR and Go, and it already being designed to run well on mobile properties. But overall, being Android-based and tethered to it, it limits Facebook's power by holding it semi-hostage from making any monopolizing moves. Now I'm gonna kind of go the route here and pull a Sweden and Switzerland and just stay neutral on the topic because I don't want to fearmonger on this channel. In all stories, I like to have a cup half full mentality. However, I do want to allude to my main concern on this, and that's side quests. It doesn't have a big implication for it, but what it does is Facebook and Oculus have of course said they like side quests and they advocate people using it. However, at any time if they decided to do something against side quests, well, it being Android based, it gives us a lot of ability to still use it and people will find a way. However, Facebook owns the entire operating system. It could have drastic limits on what it allows, and there's really nothing we could do about it unless someone smarter than me can figure it out, which, yeah, there's a lot of people smarter than me. But that's my main concern. Again, this is not a fear-mongering channel. This is for discussion, and I'm very interested to hear your thoughts on this down in the comments. Valve just saved VR. I get it. It's a clickbait headline. I got you here, so it worked, but it's true, and they're doing the only things in VR right now that I see completely for the consumer benefit. So let's go over every bit of new info we got on Half-Life Alyx and what they did that's so amazing for the VR scene. Recently, the YouTube channel Adam Savage's Tested had a lot of hands-on time playing Half-Life Alyx. Check out their channel for the full video, but here you will see a close-up stabilized view of the computer monitor in the background of their video, posted on Reddit by user ZCK2020. Before getting into why Valve saved VR, this is going to be a super quick rundown of the main points learned about Half-Life Alyx, but keep in mind it's still in development and many things can and will change before it launches. Norm from Adam Savage's Tested states the campaign is around 15 hours total, a solid amount of play in my opinion. It was noted the amount of items and environmental details you can interact with is considerable, and quality over quantity is king. It was noted the amount of items and environmental details you can interact with is considerable, and quality over quantity is key. Although teleportation is viewed in this video, smooth locomotion will also be available at release. It was shown and noted it is a manual reload for guns by reaching over the shoulder and grabbing magazines. Lastly, it was shown that on the flat screen outside the VR headset, a different heads-up display will be shown, possibly meant for viewers of streaming to have a more fun presentation style, similar to what Space Junkies did in that game. You remember when I would never shut up about that game, by the way? Overall, the game looks great so far, and Adam Savage's Tester reports the game should work fine on all gaming headsets. Now, you may remember when Half-Life Alyx was initially announced that anyone who already owned a Valve Index or had already pre-ordered it or was going to pre-order before 2020 would get Half-Life Alyx for free, and additionally would get some in-game bonuses for free as well. Well, Valve, doing Valve things, meaning all consumer base, now has completely changed their process, and anyone who now has pre-ordered it before Half-Life Alyx launches, you will also get the in-game benefits. With the Valve Index being delayed all the way right now to February, and by the time we get into January, will probably be delayed into March when the game releases. This is a promise they never had to do, no one expected, but they do it because they keep making moves in VR that are for the consumer, and it should be applauded because it's the complete opposite of what Oculus and Facebook are known for, and it's good to see some competition because that's ultimately what I want. And yes, I know it's a $1,000 headset and they probably should give some in-game bonuses for free no matter what, but they don't have to, and they do, and that's why they should be applauded. Thank you, Valve, for saving VR, because I see you as the next competition to Facebook. Although the price point may not be there, in my heart, you are the competitor. Now, of course, Valve is not alone on being pro-consumer. SideQuest is as well, and SideQuest has done more good for the Oculus Quest than I can even explain, but they are monetizing now and has implications there, so let's talk about why they're monetizing and what that means for you. On a Reddit post by Shakamone, you could feel their nervousness to post this, but SideQuest announced the 2.5 million page views it has a month, and it's time for them to start monetizing their platform. Currently, there now is a disclaimer on the app and website stating the cost of running SideQuest is increasing and how they need our support taking this from a passion project to a full business model. In the first steps to monetizing, they are going to start with trying some simple display ads served by Google and Amazon. While they admitted to mixed feelings about doing this, Colonel Izzy again said it the best. I have mixed feelings about this. I can't decide if it's reasonable or totally reasonable. Here is why SideQuest deserves their support, and I'll end this segment with one concern I do have on it. SideQuest wants to make sure not to overstep and to think of you first by drawing the line here. They will keep it subtle with no audio and keep them small, not space clogging. You can easily opt to disable ads, and even they won't try to stop any ad blockers in any way. They will follow many laws, and honestly, this is straight up overkill on how amazing they are to the VR community and how they want to start advertising. The only concern I have for this isn't what SideQuest is doing. In fact, it's the complete opposite. I think they're going to do extremely well. I think the community will support them, but if they make a lot of money, I wonder if Oculus or Facebook will have a problem, since technically they're making money off the Oculus platform indirectly, and I wonder if they're going to be petty about that. I don't expect they will be, but it's just a thought. Let me know what you think about this down in the comments. And in our final story, Adam on Twitter did a little digging and noticed a little note about the Oculus hand tracking SDK coming out for developers. That will probably mean we won't see any hand tracking games coming for quite a bit. Let's talk about it. The hand tracking update is of course out, and many are enjoying this update in the sense it's just cool tech, although not ready for primetime gaming. The Unity integration V12 package has dropped, which gave hand tracking SDK support for developers to start working on developing titles and mechanics to use hand tracking with. I'm very fascinated and have been to see which games start coming first, but thanks to Adam's detective work, it seems we will be waiting a bit, or SideQuest may be our #1 hand tracking supporter. In the fine print, Adam shared this: developer preview disclaimer, hand tracking is presented as a developer preview feature in this release. Apps using this feature will not currently be accepted for submission into any Oculus release channel. Now, what I personally took for this is basically what they're saying is until games really use this heavily in practice, they're not accepting any third-party games into the Oculus store with hand tracking support. Most likely, the first games we see will be Oculus-owned titles. That way they can vet the quality, because the Oculus Quest store has very heavy quality controls, and it's very unlikely that we'll see any third-party titles with hand tracking support being accepted at the Oculus store through their strict walled garden approach until probably Q3 or Q4 of next year, I would think the earliest. But that's just my opinion on it. Let me know what you think down in the comments. And with that being said, that will be the end of today's video. Thank you all for watching. Please leave a like to support this video. It means a tremendous amount to me. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and hit the bell icon to never miss an upload. And if you can spare any shekels, join the spaceship on Patreon, because everything onto Patreon is just reinvested back in the channel. That way I can keep this thing afloat and keep giving more keys, giveaways, and just giving back to you all. With that being said, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and everything coming up. I'm Eric for President. I'll see you on the next one. Be our Space Cowboys. Cheers.
Bang.